Hello, I'm Mathieu from Ludovox, and today we are in the Final Frontier booth. We are at the Essen Spiel 2017 with Volkan. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Having a great time at the fair.
We do. What about you? What about your games?
It's going great. This is our first year. This is our first convention ever. So we are really excited to be here and can't wait to next year and next conventions.
So you bring a game which is Rise to Nobility, and what is it? What game is it? What type of game?
Okay, it's a worker placement game. Actually, it's a worker dice placement game where your workers are the dice that you play. There are different locations in the city where you can spend the die. The main goal in the game is to become the head of the Stone Council. This is a newly built city that you own a small piece of land, and your main job is to attract settlers. So here are families, new settlers that want to come in and move into the city. After you settle them, you need to find them jobs in the city, upgrade them to guild masters and so on.
Does it translate into victory points, or do we have certain objectives?
Yeah, exactly. Victory points. The game lasts for 10 rounds. At the end of the game, who has the most victory points is the winner.
What do we do in a play turn? So I guess it's dice placement, worker placement. So how do we allocate the dice, and how does it work action-wise?
Okay, so the backbone mechanic of the game is, as I said, dice placement. The twist in that is we each get to roll 5 dice, but each player starts with a reputation in the city, certain reputation. Each player starts with 9. That means that many dice value you can play in the round. So if I, example, roll these dice, I can play these 2 because it's 9. Any dice that I put in the board cannot exceed the current reputation that I have. So technically, I make combination of the dice I have rolled, and I can choose what to play, whether to focus on the smaller dice that get smaller actions but a lot more actions, or bigger dice that will give me bigger actions, but I'll get 1 or 2 maybe in the round.
Yeah, for example, with your roll here, you had 6 and 3. We could say 9, but we could perform 4 actions for lesser actions. Okay.
So it really depends on you. In the game, there is a mechanic to increase your reputation. So as the game progresses, you open up more dice in the game. There is also a mechanic where you decrease your reputation. So you really need to pay attention about that, and that's the main backbone of the game.
So we perform actions, and what are those tiles here? Because I see that we have tiles on the action spots.
The board has different places where you can go. Most of the board has guilds where you buy resources from the various guilds. For example, Scholar Guild, Blacksmith Guild, Wizards Guild. There are tiles here. They are workshops. So, for example, if you settled a family card, they provide you with 2 meeples. That means you take two workers from the pile, and they represent people from that family that are looking for a job in the city. So there are actions that you can take with your dice. For example, if I play this one here, it allows me to employ 2 workers in this guild. So they become apprentices, and they start generating money for me. Money is really important in the game because the only way to buy resources are with money. So money is tight, and money is very important. Once I have these apprentices working in the Scholars Guild, I can upgrade them to guild masters. So I buy a building from here and I place it in this location, and from apprentices they become guild masters. So they stop generating money for me each round, but from now on they generate the resources from that guild. Also, each time some player goes here and activates this building, I get the reward shown above.
So it sounds like a game in which you really manage a society or a town. Why did you choose to have a fantasy theme and not a modern theme? Because it could go well with a modern theme, right?
We live in interesting times. So this is a newly built city. The backstory is this is a newly built city in the 5 realms which were at war with each other. And the High Queen chose to broker peace in our previous game. That's Cavern Town is our first game that is connected with this one. So the backstory is the peace was brokered, and they decided to build a new city where all the races will live together, so they can avoid another war. So it's a lot easier for us to translate that message with fantasy races and fantasy characters. So there is a message behind the game.
So, do you specifically want your games to have a message? What message are you trying to bring out to the world?
Besides hoping people to have fun and play more games, we want to say that all people are equal, no matter. For example, I'll make a silly comparison, but the dwarves and the elves will give me the same points, but they are different races,
Okay, so that might be a very well, let's say, current comparison to the state of the world now. So, besides that, I think there are a lot of components in the game. Did you kickstart it?
Yeah, we kickstarted the game in April 2017. We had around 4,600 backers. We managed to crowdfund $370,000. So the game is now still in production. We are finishing production and we start delivering in December. The game starts delivered in December.
So, do you think that Kickstarter is going to be used for all of your games, or are you going to stop using Kickstarter at some point?
We hope to grow as a company in the next few years, so we don't need to use Kickstarter anymore. But at the moment, it's the best solution for us.
Is Kickstarter changing the way you put components in a box? For example, these coins are really great, but if you didn't use Kickstarter, would you be able to make them?
That's a good question. Besides Kickstarter, besides helping us with the risk of how many print runs to make, how many copies, will the market accept the game? It helps us to really put the things that we really want, but we don't have the funds. So the more backers we have, the better game we can make, the more quality components and so on. So that really help us push the quality of our games forward to the next level.
Okay, I think that's everything about the game. So thank you very much for having us, and see you on the box. Bye bye.